It might be a little rough doing this little intro, but we're gonna get into it. What's up, you guys? My name is Mackenzie Salmon. I am a sports host, a fitness trainer, and a Midwestern girl living her New York City dream for the most part. This show is all about the calls we make in life and how we show up for ourselves in our relationships, our job, our faith, all of the stuff that happens behind the scenes, the blooper reels. We're gonna talk about that, culture, sports, and hopefully this podcast is just a reminder to you that every good call starts with showing up, even when it makes zero sense in the moment. I am so incredibly excited to be going on this journey with you guys. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So how did I fall in love with sports growing up in the Midwest? I played basketball my whole life. I'm a Hoosier, so basically when you are born, you're born with a basketball in your hands. And I played that all throughout high school. I'm only 5'5", so I knew the WNBA was not gonna be in my future. And sports for me was just a really good escape. I grew up with a cornfield in front of my house, behind my house, very small, very chill childhood. And sports just really helped me to get out of the house, release some energy, make friends. And for me, it was really a social thing. I kind of look back on it now and I'm like, I wish I would have taken it as seriously as I take things now when it comes to fitness. I love being competitive. I've always been a very competitive person. So sports has absolutely changed my life. And there are things that I've learned from childhood about working with a team, dedication, and hard work pays off. I remember when I was a child, doing cross country. It was my first time. I don't even know why I joined cross country. I think I did it for my friends because they were doing it. I hate running, low key, actually high key. I hate running. I love lifting and spin obviously, but running just no. But I tried out, my best friends were doing it and we did the first practice and my friends were like, we quit, we're not doing it anymore. And I'd tell my dad, I'm like, I'm quitting cross country too. And he's like, no, you're not. I'm like, what? He's like, you're not quitting. You started something, you have to finish it. You're not a quitter. And I remember crying. I was like, no, I have no friends in cross country and I got to run this freaking boring sport for an entire season. Long story short, I'm so happy my dad instilled that in me at a young age to not give up, and whatever I put my mind to, I have to finish it, or at least, see it through to the end. The moment I realized that I wanted to be on camera, I have always been kind of dramatic. As a child, Dad, when I was younger, would see me like pretending like I was ice skating in the living room, and he would say, are you gonna be an ice skater when you grow up? And I would literally get so frustrated. I'd be like, I'm not gonna be an ice skater, I am an ice skater. And he's like, okay. When I was younger, I would force my cousins to make videos with me on YouTube. As of now, they are unlisted because they are too embarrassing to even watch. But being in Muncie, Indiana, there's not much going on. So if it wasn't sports, it was media, something to kind of get away. There's like 3 distinct moments in my life where I remember media was for me that I look back on now. And one was making videos with my little cousins as a child. The second one was when I was in high school and our teachers asked us, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think it was senior year of high school. And I wrote down on my paper that I wanted to be an actress, like a famous superstar. And I remember the teacher was like, no, you have to be serious. And so I put dentist. But that was like nothing that I even wanted to do with my life. And I even did like pre-dental and job shadowed a dentist, and I literally barfed in my mouth and called my mom crying. I'm like, this is not for me. So ended up finding my way to media. And in college, my boyfriend at the time, he was doing sports media. I was just doing broadcast. And he told me, you should think about doing sports. It's really fun. And I never grew up watching sports, but I grew up playing them. So I feel like that was always something that really intimidated me, getting into sports media. It was like, one, I don't watch football much. I've never played football. I know basketball, but I didn't watch these sports to be able to recall how many points a player dropped in this game, or his background, what school he went to. That wasn't something I was passionate about, and it was a little intimidating. But slowly but surely, I started doing sideline reporting for Big Ten Student U. So Indiana University, where I graduated from, they had a really cool program where students could do sideline reporting for the sports at the school, for the student network. And it was with Big Ten. And I did field hockey. So that was a really good intro run into getting into sports. And I look back on that stuff, which we will do here in a bit, and it's really embarrassing. You have to live and learn, and you're gonna make mistakes along the way. I still make mistakes to this day, and it's all about how you pick yourself back up. And if you can't learn to laugh at yourself in this industry, then somebody else will. So when I first graduated from Indiana University, my first job was in Jackson, Mississippi. I was a sports videographer down there for the local newspaper, which was owned by USA Today. It's called the Clarion Ledger. I covered high school sport, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, a little bit of Southern Miss and Jackson State, but that was right before Deion Sanders came to Jackson State. I cannot even begin to tell you guys how huge that was for me and to getting to where I am today. But not only that, being alone for the first time away from your family, learning how to make new friends in a different place. Nobody tells you how the job's gonna be. You learn in college how to make packages, how to interview folks, but until you're actually thrown into the fire and it's like, okay, go do it. And it's like, oh, well, shoot, okay, now I gotta figure this out myself. And it was a great learning experience for me. I was there for about a little over a year and a half. Towards the end of that, I was just at the point where I'm like, is this what I wanna do with my life? I was basically a one-man band, driving across the state, interviewing kids, the only sports videographer at that. I was just by myself, and I remember thinking, I'm like, this isn't where I wanna be, but I do want to do more video and like sideline reporting, and I wanna be like a TV person. Rather than just videoing folks and putting stuff together, I started making TV packages for a newspaper. So I would pretend like I was on TV and literally make a package, put it out in the newspaper, or for our online presence, interview kids, do 20 questions with them, fun little bits. And that's really what helped me to pop off to get to New York, because towards the end of that time, I legit in my head was like, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I was like, Lord, if this is something that I need to continue doing, then I know you're going to make an opportunity for me, because my lease was coming up. It was the end of the year. And I kept praying, Lord, if I don't find something by the time my lease is up, then I'm just going to go home to Indiana and figure it out. Like, that's how sad I was and lonely. I was making $35,000 a year, which if you do that, that's pre-taxes. So I was making like $2 at the end of the week between bills, student loans. I just didn't have much money, and it was really sad. So again, I was praying. I was like, Lord, please help me figure this out. And if not, I'm going to go home and we're going to make it work. And sure enough, I think it was right before Christmas time, this agent reached out to me and he said, I saw your stuff. I was wondering what you're thinking about, what are your goals? And I told him I did not want to be in Mississippi anymore and wanted to find something. And sure enough, he connected me with somebody at actually USA Today, like the flagship group. And he's like, have you heard about this sports hosting position that they've got open in New York? And I was like, no, I have no idea. So ended up connecting with Colin, who worked at USA Today at the time. We connected. It was like a match made in heaven. Sure enough, I signed the papers to say that I was gonna work and move to New York City right before my birthday. He answered, signed the papers, moved to New York City, and been here ever since, so a little over 5 years now. My first week on the job. So I go from Muncie, Indiana to Jackson, Mississippi, to New York City. Moved here. This is right before COVID happened. So this is February 2020. I signed with them in January. February, the Super Bowl happened. So literally my first week on the job was Super Bowl week in Miami, 2020, right before the Rona hit. I had 40 some interviews in a span of like 4 days. Had never covered the NFL before. So I'm interviewing all of these folks, first week on the job, really meeting the team in Miami. It's parties, it's events, the interviews, Radio Row. It's like boom, boom, boom. You've got interviews. So you get 5 minutes with Christian McCaffrey. Okay, well now Aaron Rodgers is coming in. Switch it out. Okay, well there goes Tom Brady. CJ Stroud, let's chat with you. There is no time to think. It is go, go, go. But that Super Bowl week in Miami to me was everything. It's what I had been praying for. It's what I had been working for. And to be able to just be on like that, go, 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 that's very much my vibe. I love high pressure. I love having to remember things and recall them very quickly. It was just, I was in a flow and I fell in love shortly after, obviously, COVID hit. I'm pretty sure I got COVID from Miami because right after that trip, I was ill for like 2 weeks, down for the count. Have never been so sick in my life. That's a story for another time, for another podcast episode. But COVID shut the city down, and sure enough, I was stuck inside the house along with everybody in the world. And at the time, it was really sad. And I'm like, oh my God, is a zombie apocalypse gonna happen? I don't wanna be stuck in New York City. That didn't happen, obviously. And I slowly got to know the city, got to know the area, was able to make a few friends. Now I'm starting this podcast, which I am so excited for. I was with USA Today for my entire professional career, which was 7 some years. And now finally able to do something on my own. I'm so excited. This podcast is something that I've worked so hard on. I'm really looking forward to sharing my life with you guys about faith, sports, bringing friends in that I've met along the way. I feel like I've interviewed everybody and their mother at this point. So looking forward to having athletes on, personal trainers in the area, family, friends. So yes. Very early embarrassing story, so bringing it back to Miami that first week on the job. I'm interviewing Cam Jordan. He's sitting down, and I'm like, what's up? This is Cam Hayward with us. And he's like, nope. And I'm like, so first week on the job, I call somebody the wrong name, but you know what? Give a girl a break. All right, now it's time for some game tape. So I'm going to be pulling up a very early reel of mine that is very embarrassing, and we're gonna look at it together and we're gonna talk about it. So this reel is from like pre-first job. This is like 2017, 2018 reel. This is a little embarrassing, so we're gonna pull this up here.
The Indiana men's soccer team faced the New Hampshire Wildcats for the first time ever in the third round of the NCAA tournament, coming away with a 2-1 win.
Like, what did I even say there?
But looking ahead, you play the number 4 Wolverines this Friday for homecoming. And with El Himdal due to injury, what are you guys looking for on defense to replace your position and to kind of help change the dynamics of the team? Although IU fought a tough battle to win their 15th College Cup appearance, they're unable to come away with their 9th title. But Coach Todd Yeagley said there's more to winning than just coming away with the trophy. Should be a good game.
Okay, pause it for a second. Pause it for a second. Thank you, Andrea. Also, shout out Andrea, my girl helping me out behind the camera, and Alyssa for providing this amazing space. Can a girl like get help with her makeup? This is horrible. Also, you can just tell how nervous I am looking at this. I am clearly memorizing and recalling exactly what was on my notes. El hemped out due to injury. I have never said anything of that sort in my entire life. Due to injury? El Kemp is out because she's injured. Like, it's literally as simple as that. So first and foremost, looking back on this and watching it, it's just like, girlfriend, you need to be natural. You need to feel this. You just need to know what's going on and talk like a human being. When you start memorizing stuff, and this is with any industry, that's, in my opinion, the worst thing you can do, memorizing something to recall it, because as soon as you mess up, then boom, you're completely off track. As long as you know what you're talking about, you have your points in your head, it's going to flow more naturally, and you're going to feel like you're going to be able to connect with the person so much more if you are just chill, you know what you're talking about, and let it happen. And if you mess up, you mess up. I was so worried about messing up in front of the camera because it was live. I don't know how many people watched Big Ten Student U at the time, but I was so freaking nervous. And this was like my first time on the job. Oh, okay. All right, girlfriend, play it.
Guys, like you said, we're expecting to see a returning player on the court today. Well, Coach Miller said that 80% of practices have been about working on transition offense and kind of
That's not bad. That's not bad.
and pacing throughout the team. So how have you seen guys like Robert Johnson and Devontae Green really step up and continue that pace throughout the game?
So was it hard having
That was pretty good.
How were you able to execute on offense and make those opportunities for yourself? Guys, thank you. Like you said, I'm here with Assistant Coach Ed Schilling. Coach, we saw a lot of defensive pressure from U of Indy in the first half.
I don't know why I didn't start with this for my reel.
Continue to execute on offense going into the second half.
Well, this is my last question I have for you. What has been one of your favorite moments playing for this team and why?
So as the second half is underway.
Okay, cue pauser. All right. So if I'm editing this reel now, my sideline reporting stuff should have been first. I don't know why I put in studio first, because I was literally saying nothing of value. First and foremost, this reel is horrible. And I'm so happy that The Clarion Ledger took a chance on me. Shout out Hugh. You know who you are, Hugh. If you're watching this, shout out to you, Hugh, for taking a chance on me, because I look very young. I'm inexperienced. I look a little nervous, but this is funny to look back on. Honestly, the sideline reporting's not too bad. But like I said, that was where I shined, is just, all right, cameras on, boom, go. When it came to studio stuff, I just got so nervous. One of the best pieces of advice that I got at that time was from Galen Clavio, who was the sports director of the media school at the time. I'm pretty sure he still is. He told us all, he got so frustrated because we were all practicing being in front of the camera and just repeating what was on the teleprompter. He got so mad. He was like, we're talking about sports. Like, stop taking it so seriously. Just have fun with it. Stop being so stiff. If I could tell my younger self anything, it would be have fun with it. It's okay to make mistakes. And your biggest weapon is just going to be preparation. As long as you know what you're talking about, you know the teams, you know how they play, then everything else is just whatever happens, happens. And take it for what it's worth. It's not that serious. This is fun. This was good to look back on. Shout out to me. I think I've gotten a lot better over the years. I mean, you kind of have to. And I feel like with USA Today, I, again, have interviewed everybody and their mother. So who knows how many interviews I've done at this point. It's all with practice. It's all practice. Okay, what people don't see. Next segment. When I was a sports videographer in Mississippi, I didn't go into the office a whole lot. A lot of what I was doing was coming up with ideas for video content. So I would be driving all over the state of Mississippi. When it came to games, I would go to a lot of individual games because it was like, where else is the content going to come from? I didn't have a team like I have in New York, where I had editors in New York. I have an entire team behind you helping with marketing. If anything, they were like, hey, we got it covered. All you got to do is be on screen and do that. So it was definitely a big transition, because when I got there, I'm like, wow, I don't have to film and edit and be on camera and do everything myself. Praise the Lord. But when I was in Mississippi, you're driving. I was carrying all the equipment all the time. I'd be in the end zone getting ready for the touchdown, then run to the other side for whenever, if kickoff was going on. I got really good with video and keeping tabs of, okay, clip 6, clip 32, something I'm going to use for the video, and just keeping track of all of that. It was completely different than what I recently did in New York. But I would do everything myself, reach out, try and get a hold of athletes, interview them, put up the camera, do all the pre-production, do all the post-production. I was in front of it. Like, I did everything in Mississippi, and it really taught me the ins and outs of how to make content, which helped me so that when I went to New York, it's like, hey, if something's not filmed correctly when we're on the spot, like, hey, maybe we could do it this way or that way, or just knowing how to do stuff, to me, was so valuable. And I'm glad that I went through what I went through in Mississippi, because if I had just gone straight to New York, and something happened and now I'm doing my own podcast, I wouldn't even know what to do. So everything kind of built upon itself. And in this industry, being a one-man band or having your hand in the pot with everything is only going to be so much more valuable for you. And even if you're trying to get in this industry and you're like, I don't ever want to edit, I don't ever want to deal with audio, well, it is going to benefit you if you learn a little something or you try your hand out in it, because the last thing you want to be is, how should I say this? The most important thing you can be in this industry is versatile and a yes sir, yes ma'am. There are long days. If you're covering individual games, you're showing up an hour before the game starts, you're there during the game, and you're usually there 2 hours to 3 hours after the game. So I remember one time I was covering Mississippi State baseball, and it went to, 12 innings? I think it was, 12 or 13. It was long. We were there till like 3 a.m. And then you have to edit your video. Then you got to wait for your editors to be like, yeah, it's good, to post it. And then that doesn't even include getting out of the stadium. And half the time they lock you in the stadium and you got to find somebody. It's like, how do we get out? And they're like, oh, you go this way. It's just a lot being in sports. You either have a 4 a.m. call time or you got a 10 p.m. call time, depending on the sport and the season. So long days. Who is this?
Tomorrow.
It's my mom. Cancel it. How do I keep my faith and humor through it all? When I first started out, clearly, like we saw with the segment that we just went over, I was very nervous when I started out. And when you're young, at least for me, you're still kind of trying to figure yourself out, especially in the industry like sports. I never had a family member. I never had friends that were in sports media. So this was me jumping into a brand new thing that I've never been a part of. Faith has always been a big part of my life. I would say I really got closer in my faith when I was in Mississippi by myself down there. I had a really good church that I felt connected to. And that was really the only thing keeping me going in Mississippi was my faith. I was away from my friends and family. I'd made friends down there, but if it wasn't for my faith, I was really sad. And like I mentioned, had, God not gotten me out of that situation when I prayed about it, I would probably be back in Indiana, and who knows where I would be now. So my faith has always been a big part of my life. And even praying about that, and God answering my prayer and me coming to New York, a place I never dreamed of or never even thought that would be an option for me. Going from USA Today, something I'd been doing for my entire professional career, to now being on my own, that takes a huge leap of faith to start something new, a huge leap of faith to believe that something better is going to happen, because I could have very easily been like, all right, well, I'm done with sports now that me and my last job are done. Let's see what's going on with fitness. And I am a personal trainer. I teach classes at Cycle Bar, and I still want to do that. But media is something that I am really going to have to prove to myself that I want to do and be consistent with it. So this is a big leap of faith for me, and also a big leap of faith in believing that I prayed for these opportunities, and now I got to put my nose to the pavement or grindstone, or however you say that, and put in the work to get to where I want to be. So we're on this journey together, and even until, the wheels fall off, I'm going to have faith that God's going to take me where He wants me to go. And I just always pray that His will is done and everything works out for the best. So that's how I keep my faith through it all, still keeping my faith, my humor. The older I've gotten, I feel like I've just gotten more comfortable. When I first started USA Today, and you get comments from people about, oh, she's got huge lips, or all that Botox she's got. And I'm like, first of all, my forehead moves a lot, so get your Botox and your lip injection accusations correct. And yes, I've always had my lips done since I've been 21. I posted it on my YouTube years ago. Like, that's never been something I've hidden. I am not ashamed of my lips. I love how I look. When it comes to, getting other stuff done, that's just not me. Something that I've always loved is getting my lips done. So really dealing with that early on, people saying horrible comments, like, you just get tough skin. And after a while, people chill out. There are still some miserable people. There are always going to be miserable folks, but why not be myself? I don't want to be anybody that I'm not, and I don't want to be anybody else. All right, we got a Midwest minute here. I'm going to have Andrea throw out some of these for me, and I'm going to do them kind of rapid fire fun. I'm not going to talk too much about them, but obviously I'm from the Midwest, moving to the East Coast. It's a very different world. I love both, so let's get into it. All right, first question, Andrea. Favorite Midwest food? Biscuits and gravy. I think that's Midwest. It's like Southern Midwest. Yeah, biscuits and gravy is definitely my favorite Midwest food. Go-to coffee order is a latte with 1 pump of mocha and almond or oat milk. Iced, always iced. Even if it's freezing cold outside, I'm getting iced. The hardest adjustment for me moving to New York City was realizing that you can't be too nice to people. You really can't. Where I'm from, you trust somebody until they prove you otherwise. And here, you don't trust somebody until you prove that you can be trusted. I was very friendly with everybody off the bat, and a lot of people were like, what do you want from me? Or she's fake, because I was being nice, and they're like, what do you want from me? And now living here, I realize, if somebody's being a little too nice, it's like, what do you want from me? Like, I genuinely get it now. However, I am glad I grew up how I did. I love New York City and I love this area, but that was a huge adjustment. The most Midwest thing about me is I'm a little too nice, I think. Sometimes I feel like I do get taken advantage of a lot, and I've been working on it, because I like to see the good in people, and I don't want to think the worst in somebody off the rip. And unfortunately, I've been burned a few times, but I think that's probably the most Midwest thing about me. One thing New Yorkers just don't get is how important nature is in getting out of the city. I feel like I go through moments here. If I'm here for 4 or 5 months straight, I have to get out of the city. Being around nature is so grounding and humbling, and just being away from the madness of it all really allows you to escape and be in your own thoughts. And being in your own thoughts is the only way that you are really going to be able to look at your life. Think about what you're happy with, what you're not happy with. What do you want to make a difference on? Okay, I don't like the way somebody treated me here. Where is that coming from? Why do I feel this way? If you are constantly on your phone, you're constantly getting business calls, you're in the city, oh, let's go do this, let's go do that, and you're constantly rushing to do things, or there's always something going on, how are you going to ground yourself? How are you going to check yourself? Like, things just get in a snowball effect around here, and then you look back and it's like, why am I hateful? Why did this happen? Where's all my money? I don't know. It's just hard to explain unless you've been around here, and I'm sure you guys know this too. My girls sitting here, like, getting away from the madness of it all is so necessary, and I think a lot of people need to emphasize getting out of the city. There's nothing wrong with being here. There's so much opportunity and there's so much amazing things here, but just like being in the middle of nowhere too long can really isolate you from people in the world, being too much around here will isolate you from how the rest of America really is, because we're in a bubble in the New York City area, and that's really not how life is outside of here. We're rolling through this, boom! Okay, so with every episode, I want to end on one good call, let me redo this. Every episode, I want to end on one good call and one bad call of the week. So what is one good call that I made this week? I think my best good call was just starting this podcast. I feel like there's never really a good time to start something. And if you're really passionate about something and you feel it in your heart and your soul that you need to do this, waiting because you're nervous or waiting because you're afraid somebody is going to make fun of you or somebody's going to say something, that's not going to help you at all. And I've just realized, living my life for myself and my faith and what God wants for me, what I want, and working, collectively in that sense is so much more important than what somebody on a screen has to say about you. And you know what? Even if they don't like you or your podcast or your show or your job, then who cares? You're not living your life for them anyway. So why does it matter? And to me, that was my good call of the week, is just starting this. I'm so freaking excited to get the ball rolling. I know it's going to evolve, and really just starting it out and accepting it is what it is. We all start somewhere. It was hard, something hard for me, because I like to think a perfectionist. I really care about what I do. I put my all into everything. I can be intense sometimes, but it's just passion. My bad call of the week. Ooh, bad call of the week. Let's be honest with this. What was my bad call of the week? I think I could have done a better job at giving myself grace. I feel like this week, along with all the good that has happened and starting this podcast, I do get very hard on myself sometimes. I feel like I need to give myself some more grace. When things don't get accomplished how I want them to be, or there's roadblocks, I can get kind of hard on myself, and I'm like, is this even what I want to do? Is this show what I want it to be? Do I actually want it to have sports in it? Do I actually want it to have faith in it? And just battling those things, putting too much energy and time into negativity is just something that I feel like has been my bad call of the week. But I'm getting better at it, because the more emphasis and more attention you put on something, the more it's going to grow in your life, whether that's good or bad. And if you're constantly focusing on, again, what somebody's going to say or how this could go wrong, then that's what's going to be in the forefront of your mind. And at the end of the day, I can't sit here and account for all the things that could go bad, because 9 times out of 10, it doesn't happen. And just being able to roll with the punches is important. So good call of the week was starting this podcast. Bad call of the week was being a little too hard on myself and eating too many chocolate bars at night because I was stressed. But we're working on it. So yeah, I really invite you guys to share your good calls and your bad calls of the week. As these go along, I know we're going to get more honest and more vulnerable with one another, but feel free to share yours. Sometimes it feels good to share what's going on in your life, and you might feel a little more human after it. You might be able to relate a little bit more. And I would love to share your good calls of the week, your bad calls of the week, to uplift you with what good calls you made this week. So please feel free to share yours, DM me them, comment them. Your faith matters, and everything is gonna work out how it's supposed to, even if it doesn't look like it in the moment. Just have a little bit of faith. All right, you guys, that is a wrap on episode 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Mascara, microphones, women in sports. What more could you want? I will see you guys next time. Bye.